You're watching TVC Breakfast. Large crowds have remained on the streets of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, ignoring a nighttime curfew declared by the country's new military council.
Longtime President Omar Hassan al-Bashir was overthrown and arrested on Thursday after months of street protest. But demonstrators say the military council is part of the same regime.
Well, the fresh standoff has raised fears of a violent confrontation between protesters and the army. Joining me now is TVC News Deputy Assignment Editor Cyril Abaku. Thank you for joining us, Cyril.
Thank you.
Now, the man in the eye of the storm, Omar al-Bashir, 30 years of his reign, and now it ended this way. Could it have been better?
Of course it could have been better. As a matter of fact, as of February, we thought he was going to step aside. But then he didn't do that. He didn't do that. And again, I mean, after 30 years in power, this is where the story now comes to end. It's a pity. But a lot of questions also, you know, are being raised. Because what you couldn't do in 30 years, how do you now want to do it now?
Yes.
Yes. So, you know, but the fact is that, you see, even when al-Bashir has been arrested and has been ousted.
What is next? Because he's being accused of crimes against humanity.
The only leader, you know, in the world today that has crimes bordering on genocide on his head. But have you also wondered the fact that the coupists didn't particularly say they're going to hand him over to the ICC for prosecution? So it shows that there is a lot more we are not seeing than what we're seeing.
There's a lot more we don't know yet.
Yes.
And now the army is coming in for 2 years. The sincerity of purpose of the army for the 2 years, one wonders.
One wonders. This is a typical coup, like the one al-Bashir staged in 1989 with the support of Hassan al-Turabi and so on, you know. Is a typical coup, a coup for its own sake. A coup that is being made by people who want power, perhaps for power's own sake. I think it is still quite early, because the fact is that if General Aouf wants to use force to repress the protesters, it may seriously backfire. Of course, it is widely known that Aouf was himself part and parcel of al-Bashir's inner circle.
Of course. From
being head of intelligence, from being somebody that al-Bashir can trust to make defense minister.
But the people don't seem to trust him, because they're saying these are the same people wearing new clothes.
What it is now, look, what
does that imply for them now?
You see, when the rally turned bloody, initially there was a clampdown, and so the people backtracked. When they came back full force, they went to the military headquarters and said, take him out. Take him out and bring us in, so to say. Take him out. We want a civilian, properly democratic government, you know.
Can they get that?
Well, I think to answer that question, we now need to see whether they can confront Aouf. They can. I mean, yesterday was the first. Was supposed to be the beginning of the curfew, but you know they defied it.
Yeah.
And so if they can defy it in the long haul, then perhaps something will cave, you know, in the course of time. Because I see the AU, I see the UN, I see even Amnesty International piling some more pressure on the current administration and saying, look, what you're saying is not clear enough. 2 years for one transition. You know, Bangladesh did the same thing in Nigeria. From maybe 1 year, from 6 months to 1 year, it took him 8 years. Eventually, he ran away. And so you can't tell us that you're going to write a constitution in 2 years, hand power over in 2. It is even the military alone cannot, on its own, cannot solely by itself determine the destiny of Sudan. At some point, they will need to bring in some of these professional, the CSOs. And so for me, the earlier they bring them in,
the better for them. So now, what is the way forward for the Aouf himself? Are you saying then that he cannot deliver on what the people of Sudan are asking or demanding moving forward now? If that's the case, what happens? How do they come together? How do they achieve what they intend to achieve?
Now, this is a very delicate situation, and without speaking tongue-in-cheek, Ahmed Tantawi overthrew, I think, Hosni Mubarak in Egypt, conducted elections. He didn't run. Morsi came to power. 2 years later or so, Morsi was ousted. Al-Sisi came to power. Al-Sisi now ran in the elections and won. You know, there's a danger, because if Aouf himself is being accused of being the mastermind of the crimes committed by al-Bashir, you may not expect him to be politically wise to just come in and say he's going to hand power over to civilians. Because, I mean, whatever you're going to bring against al-Bashir, you're likely going to also bring against Aouf. So it's a delicate one for him. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of discussion will have to take place behind the scenes. But whatever the case is, the military alone cannot run the show in Sudan. It is impossible.
Cyril Abaku, we have to leave it there. Thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.